Evil
Evil
dies
dies tonight.
Yeah.
I got it. I knew.
Evil
Thanks,
dies
Michelle. Thanks,
tonight. Evil dies tonight.
Welcome everyone to Lunchbox TV's Creepin' It Real. Today we are discussing the recently released Halloween Kills, directed by David Gordon Green. Now this is the sequel to the 2018 Halloween?
I think it was 18, yeah.
Yeah, 2018. Same director, and apparently they were brewing up a whole trilogy because Halloween Ends comes out next year. So this is the second part, and we've got some thoughts. Let's take it. Oh yeah, I am joined. Sorry, I'm Alex. By the way, guys, my name is Alex. All right, this guy Alex, and I'm also joined by Lou.
This guy, I'm Lou.
Okay. And Michelle.
Not a guy, a girl. It's me.
Yeah, it's me, Michelle.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's talk initial thoughts, spoiler-free thoughts on Halloween Kills. What y'all think?
You know what? For what it was fun. I'm not gonna complain too much. This isn't exactly high art. The kills were fun, and Michael Myers just keeps on going. Can't stop the dude. He's immortal. Yeah, so it was fun. Story's dumb, but it was fun.
I'm gonna complain. I'm mad about it. So okay, upon first viewing, I was like, wow, I hate it. Like, I'm angry at this movie. Then Alex pointed out that it was the second movie in a trilogy, and that made me cut it slightly more slack because I didn't know it was a trilogy, and I was like, wow, why is this movie so unfinished? Why is the ending the way it is and this not? Knowing it's a trilogy, okay, that makes more sense. I don't super forgive everything, but there are like some of the biggest issues I had. It makes sense why those would be the biggest issues I had. The kills were great, and this movie was a little bit confused. I think it fell into that. I think the same issue I'm having with a lot of movies right now. It makes me think of Malignant, where it's like, what's the tone in this movie? I think it got a little tonally confused a couple times that I didn't like, but I won't go into detail until we spoil.
I mean, look, I'm coming from it from this perspective. Like Jason, we haven't had a Jason movie in years. They tried to reboot it, it was a failure. Nightmare on Elm Street, another failure. Slasher horror movies are dead in the water. They've been dead for ages. It feels like it. Like Jeepers Creepers is written and directed by like a pedophile, as far as I know.
Yup,
That guy's still writing it.
Convicted,
which is crazy.
convicted.
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah,
supposed,
so,
very convicted man.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
So forget that. So as far as like the slasher movies goes, these are the crumbs that are given to us, you know. And for me, I'm so happy because like Michael Myers, I want to say he stood the test of time because he's like coming out the other end of this like basically unchanged, untouched, like and for that reason it was cool to see all the kills, how unstoppable he is, because like Michael Myers has that presence and they were true to it. The director was true to it. Like it was really cool. He was unstoppable. Everything about him, just quiet, killer, excellent. Problem is they did nothing at all original or like out of the box with this. Like if this is your empire, it wasn't an empire because it was flat at the end. I totally understand. And like, dear God, thank God I wasn't in Michelle's mindset where it's like, oh, it's just another Halloween movie, because that ending, like you would have known that, yeah, it's supposed to be a cliffhanger for, you know, the setup for the actual climax. But that said, like, it has its strengths, has its weaknesses, and with that I will discuss a quick overview with some spoilers. So here we go. In the first movie, you had Michael Myers on the eve of Halloween. Some journalists came to interview him, showed him the mask, and I guess that flipped the switch on Michael Myers. And yeah, he escaped during a transit, apparently with the help of his psychiatric doctor, and he donned the mask. He started his killing rampage. He was in the town of wherever it is. I forget the town name.
Haddonfield.
Haddonfield, thank you. And yeah, he makes his way killing. Comes across Laurie Strode. Laurie Strode has been ready since 1978, since the very first movie. So this film canon, it's faithful to the first one, ignores everything else, like literally everything else. Because
That's actually what I just realized when after watching the 2018 one. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, yeah. Okay. So forget everything else. This is kind of the sequel to the very first ones. I was like, all right.
That's right, because okay, these are spoilers for Halloween Resurrection, but in Halloween Resurrection, Michael Myers. I know it's crazy. It's crazy.
Spoilers for a movie that's so old at this point.
I know Halloween Resurrection. Like Michael Myers kills Laurie Strode in that, who's a babysitter, played by Jamie Lee Foxx in the original. So like
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Sorry, yes. Who's Jamie Lee Foxx? That's nobody.
You're thinking Jamie Foxx?
Jamie
That'd be a totally different movie if this was Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, absolutely right. So yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis, sorry. And so in this one, she's a gun nut, because that's what Michael Myers does to people. She becomes a survivalist gun nut, and that kind of psychosis she passed on to her daughter, and her daughter, like the first movie had a really interesting story where that was involved, where like this mental trauma affects a family, and whether it's passed down, because it was passed on to the daughter, but that daughter is trying to keep her own daughter free of that, trying to separate Laurie from her own daughter. So that was really interesting. But by the end of that movie, it was like, no, we're all gun nuts. We're all gonna kill this guy. We're all, rah rah rah, guns, my guns. And in Halloween Kills, the granddaughter, Allison, she joins her boyfriend who cheated on her in the first movie and goes off to kill Michael Myers. But the story in the sequel is that the whole town of Haddonfield, they want to kill Michael Myers. And on the count of three, can we all say it? 1, 2, 3. Evil dies tonight. Yeah.
I got it. I knew.
Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight.
Yeah. It was, yeah, a kind of like a mantra that the town had as they were bloodthirsty to go after Michael Myers, which didn't end well for many of the citizens, as Michael Myers would kill them and kill them and kill them. And eventually Allison figures out that Michael's just going home. He's just going to his childhood home, where he originally, as a child, 6-year-old child, he killed his sister, stabbed her in the boobie, apparently. And he just stare out the window. So he goes there, where the Johns, two of my favorite characters. I was kind of sad to see him go, but Big John and Little John, the happy gay couple, they're just living there, and yeah, Michael kills a bunch of people, a lot of killing, up until Allison shows up to the house, and same with Karen, a whole brouhaha. It looks like the entire town is going to kill Michael. They're just wailing on him, but stylistically it looked really neat, because it was just like just black background, pitch black, and you just see the blood and the hit occur. Michael turns it around and kills most of the people that were trying to kill him. Laurie's daughter Karen, she's the one victim, like the one major victim of the daughters. Michael does kill her, and yes, that is the cliffhanger of the movie. And yes, and I suppose I can end those spoilers there. But let's talk story. What you guys think? What was missing? What you like? What was going on?
I'll say it. Okay, so here's the issue. Upon reflection, here's my big issue. Now that I know it's the middle of a trilogy, okay, I'll let the cliffhanger go. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine. I still hate it, but whatever. The issue that I actually have is I think this movie tried to do too many things. So I felt like there were actually quite a few little like side stories and time spent in certain areas of this town and the characters that didn't actually progress the story or do anything. I think there wasn't so I actually really enjoyed Halloween 2018. Like, it's not amazing. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was good. I thought it was fresh. I liked Laurie Strode being a gun nut. Like, I loved the exploration of trauma. It's mild. This is no Hereditary. This is no Midsummer. It's no like, Hill House. It's nothing like that where it's really like super deep. But there was an attempt to explore the trauma. In this one, there was an attempt to explore this idea that Michael was making everyone in this town like nuts and like evil and do bad things in an attempt to protect themselves, because there's this whole side story of the hospital where there's this other dude who I guess escaped from the same asylum as Michael, and they think it's Michael because they don't know what Michael looks like. Though, excuse me, isn't Michael like 6 feet tall? This dude's short. So you're all dumb, first of all. But there's this attempt at like this meaning of, oh wow, look at what he's done to this town and da da da. And they tried really hard, and then they intercut every one of those scenes with our happy gay couple being the happiest couple ever and just being silly. Like, they were so comedic, which Halloween is not Scream. Halloween is not Scream. Halloween is not a comedy, not a dark comedy. It's not a satire. It's a slasher. It's its core slasher. So injecting like these very comedic moments in what was no, none of that. That did not work. I hated the combination of these two things. I feel like one or the other could have been good, but they're trying to do this deep messaging with like LOL Big John, Little John with their charcuterie board and talking about getting high off honey and like, oh. What? Who are these characters?
I liked it because like it at least injected some like you cared about the characters before you knew they were going to get killed, right? But at least you cared about them, and like there's a little nuances instead, because this would have been worse. Instead of them just being, oh, they're gay and then they died, you don't get any more stories like, oh, so we don't get these characters, but hey, at least they were gay, and at least there's a little more to them. Like they were kind of cute, like just the nicknames alone, Little John, Big John. I kind of enjoyed it.
I have no problem with their existence. It's just the interspersing of them with this deep meaning. Pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one of those things.
I mean, just how grim can you get with a horror movie? Like I guess fair enough, because like that is the standard for slashers, but sometimes you do get some humor, like, oh, those goddamn chimichangas in yeah, it could be funny. You might be right. They might have overdone it with the Big John, Little John, but it felt more like they're giving them some character. Before they died.
Which is all fine and good. Just don't intersperse it with this messaging of like, Michael's making all of us evil. Like, and we're killing dudes in a hospital. That's the issue. If they intersperse Big John, Little John with shots of Michael just slaughtering the town, sweet. Like, no problem. Especially because that Big John, Little John live in Michael's house. So if you've paid any attention to any Halloween movie, these two characters are gonna die. Like, you 100% know they're gonna die. And I liked that we actually know who they are as characters before they die. Because at this point, like, someone else say something. I have a million things. Somebody else say something else.
You know what? Just to kind of echo off Michelle, I think that this movie was trying to attempt to be more than what it actually was. Like Michelle, I also really like 2018. I mean, I've watched other Halloweens like here and there, but kind of I just put it on, just watch it, right? So 2018 I actually enjoyed. And what it did that this one didn't do is that it just concentrated on the Strodes. I like that they added just a little thing about the sheriff and our good old American boy Tommy, but there was too many other things that were going on. And Alex is also right. I did really like the injection of the Johns. That was a cool touch. But story-wise, I just wanted more of Laurie, because Laurie, I think maybe 80% of this movie, she was just in the hospital. She was just being in bed, not trying to die, parting some wisdom. But yeah, I'm pretty sure now that this is a trilogy, there'll be more of her to avenge her daughter. But yeah, this lacked Laurie, and then just the other things that they added in just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like the town wants to kill Michael, so we're gonna find Michael. It's a cool concept, but it was just it did not. I want to say it was the whole hospital thing that really took it the wrong turn.
Yeah,
because I'm sure this movie I'm sure wasn't written this year, because if it came out in October, that means it's been in development for a while. But like for some reason, I couldn't help but think about the Capitol riots in January. And like, are you like drawing some sort of comparison here? Yeah. Like, are you trying to make the rioters the ignorant, like, still good, they're good, but they're just, doing the wrong thing? It's like, no, they're dumb, they did the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And like it's really weird. There's a lot of like directions you could take that, but I want to say it was like the whole hospital thing was where it went wrong, because like after the hospital thing, a bunch of the townsfolk, they found Michael Myers. I'm fine with that. And then prior to that, you have townsfolk who are getting killed because they're doing the wrong thing, which is hunting Michael Myers. And like, that's all good. It's just this gap in the middle where the wrong guy dies, and he jumps out of the hospital. But yeah, like it had a lot of potential, the whole town being infected by evil thing, but it wasn't realized.
And okay. I'm gonna keep all my things short, but here's my other thing. My other thing is that what this movie did is they removed Laurie from the narrative. And I don't just mean that like she wasn't in the movie. They actually undid a lot with her character by having this whole conversation of, Michael doesn't actually give a shit about you, Laurie. It was actually his psychiatrist who directed him to your house. Michael's just always trying to go home. You just happen to be in the way. We have, how many years has Jamie Lee Curtis played Laurie? Like 30 years? I don't know. A very, very long time. These two characters are synonymous. Like they, like I can't think of another duo quite like this, where everything about Michael Myers, he's after Laurie. Like that is the thing. In a bunch of iterations, she's a sister, whatever. It's this, like, their relationship and their kind of battles for survival or whatever it is
should be the driving force of the movie.
It's the key to this entire franchise. And in this movie, they literally told her, you don't matter. Like they literally said that. And we just went through 2018 Halloween, which is in like, I'm trying not to be like, so I don't like, okay, the word I'm gonna use, I'm trying not to be mad feminist about this, but like, how are you gonna give me Laurie Strode, like the iconic final girl? You give her this moment of empowerment and trying to like, get all that back. And then you turn around and go, you literally don't matter at all. So now if in Halloween Ends, she's going after Michael for killing her daughter, but she doesn't matter. Like you're telling me this character doesn't matter. So what am I supposed to be attached to? Because like Michael's a bomb villain, but I need somebody to root for, and you killed the Johns, so I got nobody else to root for at this point.
I just have to say in regards to that, because that's a really interesting point you bring up. Like in the original one, Laurie just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she survived. Okay, cool. So if they want to continue that story, as in like Laurie and Michael don't really like, it's only important to Laurie, but it isn't important to Michael. Like Michael considers her a nobody, fine, but you have to replace that with something. You have to create a fresh important link, like something more than revenge, because revenge is so weak, it's so played out, and like that's what they're gonna go for in the third one, which is a missed opportunity.
I agree. I agree.
I also want to give a shout out to John Carpenter and whoever else he worked on the music, because the music was phenomenal.
The music was really good. Yeah,
I loved it.
The Halloween music will never not give me just like the chills. Like that first, the Halloween riff, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And the first time that always happens in the movie, I'm just like, oh, here we go. Like
it's still the kind of music that makes you kind of look back.
Yeah, it has this foreboding sense to it that's just spectacular. I think slashers are my favorite horror movies. Like I think I'm settled on that. I love it. And Halloween is so, it's decided for me because there's something to a slasher movie that's just like, I don't know, the supernatural, like there's supernatural slashers, right? We have the Candymans, we have the like Nightmare, the Nightmare series, blah blah. Halloween is its own thing because they kind of hinted at it in this movie, but like they didn't really go deep into like Michael being really like a supernatural being. He's more than a man, but he's an alpha predator, he's whatever. But there's something to that just like for me as a horror fan, like I love that. I love that it's not this supernatural thing. It's just this like, I don't know, super roided out dude who won't die. Like, I love it. I love this. I don't know.
So let's discuss the actors in it. So the family, Laurie, obviously Jamie Lee Curtis. The daughter, Karen, Judy Greer. Granddaughter, Andy Matichak. And I have to say, I just realized it today, looking at the IMDb, the boy that Laurie babysat way back when in 1978, who's grown up. And in this movie, he's basically leading the charge of evil dies tonight. He's like the one dude that's like going crazy. He's got this bat.
The baseball bat.
He's Anthony Michael Hall, aka the nerd from the Breakfast Club.
Yep.
What?
Good old Tommy.
Good old Tommy. Yeah, so Tommy Doyle. So let me what would you guys think of the performances overall in this movie?
Performance wise, I guess I don't know, at least nothing really stood out actually, but except maybe for Tommy, which I guess worked because he irritated me the most. The rest were just kind of just bland. I did like the performances of the both Johns. I wish there was more of like Jamie Lee Curtis, Laurie. Judy Greer was all right, and in a way she also did well was Allison, because she also annoyed me in this movie, which is kind of like my theme for their performances is the best performances were the ones that annoyed me the most. And what about you guys?
There were no notable performances for me. They all showed up and collected a paycheck, but like there wasn't anything that was so atrocious that I feel the need to point it out, but there also wasn't anything that I'm like, wow, like they did that. Like the Johns were really funny, but it's like they were funny. I don't know how much is like them versus like the characters and the script. I don't know for something like that. So it was all just acceptable for me. Yeah,
I think like once you remove the element of like Jamie Lee Curtis being your main like character and actor, like you remove an incredible performance because she was awesome in Halloween 2018.
Cared it.
And exactly. And now you don't really get her except she's like commiserating with Officer Hawkins, and that's about as good as it gets. But like I guess a shout out to whoever played Michael because he did nothing but was really imposing. That was really cool. That's all I can say. And speaking of Michael, he had some brutal kills. Let's talk about that kills with a Z. What was your favorite kills? Yeah, let's go. I'll open up the floor.
So there was a lot of kills in this movie. It's I think actually more than 2018, if I'm not mistaken. There was a lot more gore for sure, but the one kill that stood out head and shoulders above the rest for me, just because it was just it made me laugh so much. That kill is when the sexy nurse tried to shoot I think it was Michael with the gun, and he kicked the door and the gun just went bam. I'm like, yes, it's so dumb. I love it so much. My favorite kill. She deserved to die. Like,
wow,
how
that is
does
not the answer?
Is that even possible? Like, just the action?
She had the biggest opportunity to kill Evil that night. Evil dies tonight. You had it right there, but no, she messed up.
Love it.
Oh, so okay. There's a lot of good kills in this movie. That's the one thing like that for this movie. The kills were spectacular.
Yeah.
The gore was good. It's one of the things I like the most about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, like the hyper gore, the hyper violence of those movies works for me. This one's not on that level, but like there are some kills. My favorite scene is also my favorite kills because it's multiple kills. It's all the firefighters, the paramedics, like the first responder kills.
Yeah.
That like, ooh, like that was insane. That entire sequence. I mean, of course, in this part like of the movie, it's the reintroduction of Michael. It's the first kills of the movie from him. But damn, that scene when they like, and that's the one where we also see, because we see quite a like there's a couple scenes where there's groups attacking Michael with weaponry. The weaponry from these guys, these groups of humans, like they had axes, one person had a chainsaw, like sick weapon kills, and the way Michael just like turned that around on them. And I also really like that it kept switching between like a third party point of view and then the actual like people getting killed point of view. It's like the dude's getting chainsawed and you're like in his visor, I guess. Like,
yeah, that was really cool actually. Yeah.
Oh my god, that sequence like was spectacular. That made like that for me. I was like, oh my god, this movie is amazing. And then like after that, but that sequence so good. I'm gonna rewatch that sequence 1,000,001 times. I adored it.
Fun fact, Michelle, since your favorite scene was the firefighters, did you know that right now there's a sort of petition to take those scenes out because we're not supposed to show the first responders getting brutally murdered like that.
Oh, stop!
I mean,
it's not gonna happen.
I can understand that. Like, I think honestly that this could be why I had such a visceral reaction to it, because I'm like, oh my, like, you're heroes. No, like it felt,
bam.
You know what I mean? Like there's that like seeing the people in like, okay, it's not the same as cops. You know what I mean? Cops get killed in movies and things all the time, and that's kind of like whatever. But like in these situations, like I don't often see paramedics or firefighters getting murdered in things, or like dying in the line of duty. Yeah, but something of this nature was like, I've never seen anything like it, which is why I liked it, but also probably why it's never been done before. So that makes sense.
I'm just like, leave Michael Myers alone. He's gotta kill who he's gotta kill.
Yeah, I mean, they showed up to his house. Don't go to his house, man.
Yeah.
Let it burn. As Lori said, let it burn.
Well, as we saw, Michael doesn't discriminate. So,
yep.
You know, everyone, equal opportunity killer. Yeah, bless him. So I have to say, Lou, when you said this kill was head and shoulders above the rest, I really, really thought and was hoping that you were like using a clever pun for Cameron's death, who his head and shoulders was over the floor, and Michael was just stomping the hell out of him.
That was my second favorite one.
I thought you were doing that too.
Favorite.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Lou got it. No, yeah, that was my favorite. He was just stomping him in front of his girlfriend Allison, and Allison couldn't do anything but call to Michael, like, hey, come get me. And then like Michael's just, Michael was just like a frenzied animal, and like just while he's walking past it, he's still kind of gurgling for life. Like, okay, let's make him see the sky. Oh, it was brutal.
It's like the vampire in Midnight Mass where they were shooting him and he just like
So I mean, yeah, it was like probably one of the more simpler kills because it didn't really involve anything besides the floor, but it was so visceral, and I wanted him to get it since the first one. Okay, I don't like his redemption arc because it's not a redemption arc. So it was really weird. But yeah, that's the one for me. Yeah. Oh, final thoughts. Yeah, final thoughts and score.
So again, I'm gonna probably repeat what Michelle's gonna say later on after this, but I didn't really like this as much as the first one, but sort of figuring out that there is a third one redeemed it a little bit for me, because we got to see how this ends, right? It was okay. The best parts were the kills, and Michael's just, he just wants to go home and it's gonna kill everybody that's in the way. Entertaining enough for me. It's 3 out of 5 for me.
I mean, yeah, what Lou said. The thing that I liked the most about this movie was my movie going experience. I saw it in theaters, saw it in the VIP, because I'm like that. And the audience was having the most fun. It was actually one of those movies where people were like, laughing along, gasping along. I bonded with the girl beside me because we got by the first jump scare and we kind of had a moment. And I was like, wow, this is why I like to watch these movies in theaters. I just think it's fun. I think if I'd watched it at home, I would have saved a lot of money, but maybe not had as much fun watching it. And now that I know it's a trilogy, it gets a little bit more points for me. So I'm going to give it like a 2.5 because I still don't enjoy it. I probably won't rewatch it again. Besides the firefighter scene on YouTube, probably, if I can find it, or wherever I can find it, if it gets deleted off the internet or whatever. So yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, I guess you both sort of covered it. Like as far as a single movie goes, it's a little weird, but yeah, if it's part of a trilogy, whatever. But like I just went into it, just wanting to see some deaths and stuff, some gore, the horror stuff, the good stuff. It's October, Halloween's coming. Give me some new stuff. And so I literally get satisfied that craving. But the story was definitely lacking. And like we said, performances too. So I'd give it I'm gonna take the coward's route and just slap myself firmly between you two with a 2.75. So that was Halloween Kills Lunchbox review, the Lunchbox TV Creepin' It Real Halloween Kills. If you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments, and subscribe, like, follow us on our socials. I'm Alex, and I've been joined by Lou and Michelle, and we will see you on the next spooky one. Evil didn't die tonight, but some other night. Yeah, next time.
Let evil die. Let evil die.